Hey guys, welcome back. Robocraft early access coverage. This is episode 31. I'm Enigma Mason today. We've got 4 new matches for you in the pretty hate machine. Now, one of the things you might notice is that the black blocks are slowly spreading around the outer perimeter of the bot. That's what I've been spending all my RP on. It's trying to convert those to black, and then in the process I gain a couple levels, and then I try and add more blocks, and I realize I need a lot more levels. It's progress. There's definitely progress. Now, this is a match that I decided to show first because there's just something about it that stood out to me as really, really frustrating, and we're going to get a really close look at it. You can see we're coming up to the tunnel here. I'm not really enthusiastic about taking point, but just kind of looking at the icons on the vehicles around me, someone's got to, and these guys are pretty light, we'll say, in the mass department. They aren't packing too many blocks. They're relying a lot on electroplates. So I'll get up there in the front and mix it up with them. We've got a medic who's just kind of bouncing off my ass there. We got some flyers up here. We don't have anything to deal with flyers, but at least there's a medic, and I'm thinking to myself, I take a hit and I'm just kind of looking at what's going on, and we've got our guys, we've got a flyer up there, we've got some plasma help. Maybe this guy beside me, he's not really sure where he wants to go. I almost went right off the bridge, but we recovered. That was close. And I'm trying to size up the situation and at the same time keep my guns working. That's kind of the ongoing thing, I guess you could say, in any match, is trying to keep the guns working at the same time as trying to take an intelligent look at what's going on. We're not just going after the first red name we see, because it's pretty dangerous if you get into that habit. So there's a guy over the valley there. I could see some fire. I thought it was from that flyer, so I wasn't really paying too close attention. You see, I got a nice little glob of damage on that walker up on the ridge. And then this guy hits me, and I'm looking, and I'm trying to find out where the hell he is, and I can't see him. And then I see he's hiding in those rocks up there. Now he's spamming the Q on me, which is always good fun. So I'm kind of taking a look at things, and what I'm seeing basically is there's no reason for me to be going towards their base because they've got just too many plasma bots in the immediate vicinity. They could just sit there and rain crap on the circle all day long. It's just one of those things. You got to clean up the mess before you move on to somewhere else. So I'm focusing on this guy because I'm thinking I could maybe get some splash damage on him in between, you know, things going wrong. The enemy has started capping on us. We've got a guy down there, probably one of the little baby plasma hovers, who's trying to cap, and there's people are shooting the guys on the circles, and we got plasma all over the place over here. It's kind of a mess. There's only one way to describe it. It's just a mess. There's nothing happening. Tier 10 and plasma is very different from a lot of the other tiers where plasma is this infuriatingly overpowered kind of thing. I know because I had a plasma bot using plasma when it was an overpowered, obnoxious thing. Here, bots, people have been working on them for a while, quite often. They're a lot more resilient. The plasma just doesn't scale as well as you might think. So we can do some good damage. We can get some really lucky damage that takes off huge chunks of an enemy bot because of the splash. And we can do things like this, where, you know, until he gets the best of us, suppressing people that we can't necessarily see. We know where they are, but they're behind cover. And then I look. Look at those 2 plasma guys in the tunnel there being healed. One is at 100%. He's not being healed. He's just sitting there like a dolt. The other one's at 81%, hiding in the tunnel while their teammates are out there trying to do something useful. I'm not... It's the difficulty with a fun term like medic circle jerk is it puts, I think, maybe a little too much emphasis on the medics. When the medics are really just, I mean, there's a bot there, the medic is in cover, there's a bot in front of them that needs healing. What are they supposed to do? Just drive away? Sometimes, yes, I think sometimes medics should lead people by the nose to the front lines and say, get your ass out there and do something useful, or I'm not healing you anymore. That, to me, is something that a medic is entitled to do if they're able to do it intelligently. But realistically speaking, when you've got a guy who's at 100% and he's clinging to the wall of the tunnel like he's afraid anyone is going to see him, and another guy who's basically put himself in a position where he can't contribute because there's no enemies in line of sight while he gets healed up to, I don't know, is he waiting till he gets back to 100% before he moves out again, or is it just unfortunate timing on his part? It's something that we have to be aware of as we're receiving healing, is that we don't need to be 100%. And sometimes waiting in a non-contributor way until we reach that 100% is harmful to the team, because you've got guys out on the front lines that could really use the extra firepower, you know what I mean? So that's, I made a point of, you know, pointing that out, just a reminder to people to be conscious of what's going on around you, and one of those things is I'm getting healed. What's happening in the rest of the map while I'm being healed doing nothing? Do I need to get my ass moving and take a chance? Or can I afford to, do we have a dominant position? Can I afford to sit here and just kind of have a little bit of a snack and a chat while the medic is healing me, and then when I'm around 99 to 100%, head out and do something useful? It's a decision that has to be made sooner or later. So this is another one of those matches where it just kind of goes to crap early on. Our guys are very slow leaving our circle, which is bad. And now the enemy has started to cap, and I'm thinking to myself, I would like to go back and interrupt them, but that lane is blocked, and it's getting a little bit too far on. But looking at the mini-map, we had guys that were in a position to do something, but they got caught in the middle of nowhere and didn't make any decisions when the decisions needed to be made. Either double back and protect our base, or move in a group to the enemy's circle and get enough vehicles on there to counter the enemy's capture speed. That's the decision, and just like that. I mean, that was one of the shortest. I barely finished talking about the previous match when this match was over. That's how fast it can happen sometimes. People just not paying attention. Things calling your attention that require a response. That response has to be made, and it has to be made decisively. Otherwise, bad things happen. Matches get lost. It's just the way things work. So here's another example. I'm kind of moving out. I'm intentionally going slow, and I'm watching what my teammates are doing. I'm also looking at what kind of bots they're doing. See that little one right on the left there? That just scares the shit out of me when I see one of those guys, because he's not going to stand up to anything. He's going to evaporate the first time he gets a full spread plasma bomb on his face. It's things like that kind of undermine your sense of confidence in what your team is going to be able to do. And I realize as I'm pulling up here, again, I'm not necessarily afraid to take point, but I would prefer not to. So I'll kind of wait here and kind of size up the situation, look for enemy bots, see who's coming. All these guys covered in the electroplates, they don't want to advance. They're just waiting for me. So might as well push out and see what we can see. This is not a bad lane to go through, because you can duck behind these little ridges on the right. You can get at least a little bit of cover. But again, nobody is moving very quickly. Look at the map. Down the left-hand side of the map and then stretching along the bottom. That's basically 80% of our team right there is just strung out along that map. And they don't have anybody lit. Well, they've got one guy now, too. And then sooner or later we're going to realize that basically they've gone around the opposite lane that we took. Now they're starting to cap, and they've got a very large group of bots up on this hill that I'm shooting at that are going to prevent us from having any chance whatsoever of responding with the cap of our own. We just don't have the firepower down here because these guys aren't even shooting. These guys on the circle aren't even shooting at anything, even though there's targets up on that ridge. They're just kind of sitting there. They're hiding. They've kind of backed away, and I guess that was me kind of being... I shouldn't have gone on the circle in a situation like that, because I'm firing at them and I've got their attention and they're going to be shooting at me. So we lost that segment because of me, but it's not like my team is such a bunch of pro stars that I feel bad that I cheated them of their hard-won victory, because they're really kind of useless. They're not even returning fire. We've got SMGs in the area, but it's the plasma that have to shoot at the flyers because the SMGs aren't doing anything. So here comes another interceptor. Try and get a shot on him. Did a little bit of damage. That's a very satisfying feeling. But then after it happens, like 5 seconds later, you see the entire area in front of you just turns red with bots and nameplates, and you realize that no matter what you do, it's pretty much game over. They dominated us from the beginning right to the end, And we didn't make them work for it. That's the frustrating thing, is you don't mind the losses when you make the enemy work for it. At least it's entertaining right the way through, and you could say, yeah, we lost, but we had a lot of fun in the process. Those kinds of losses are just like, what are we supposed to do? Half of our bots aren't even shooting. Now this, we can't end off on a depressing note. You know, sometimes we look at the things that didn't work as an opportunity to learn something, but still, it gets to be a bit much. So this is a win for once. Not a particularly grand win. It's not high strategy or anything like that. It's basically everything that happens in the average match. You advance until you get to that point where you expect to be able to see enemies advancing through the lane themselves, and then you make your decisions based on what's going on. So you can see here, this guy has overextended quite badly, and there's a part of me that wants to get up in there and get some, you know, some points towards the RP, because we definitely need the RP. But it's when you, like I said at the very beginning, you get fixated on that one red name, and the next thing you know, you're surrounded, or your bot is like half destroyed, and you don't even know what happened because you were so fixated on that one guy. So I kind of held back a little bit because it looked like my teammate had it under control. That's very important. You'd never want to sit there and watch as a teammate gets picked apart while you're just kind of being timid. You know, I would expect myself to get in there and get involved and try and help. But in a situation like that, I felt it was as useful to hang back and just kind of make sure that we didn't get flanked too badly. You can see up here, this is not a bad time to be a plasma vehicle. When you've got enemies all over, they're kind of half in cover, and you can get some splash damage on them. It's kind of fun. I like that part of it. And then you hear the sounds of the fighting. Again, there's something going on that demands a response. You hear all kinds of shooting going on. You don't know if it's your guys, their guys, or both. But you have to get in there and do something and at least find out what's going on. Otherwise, bad things happen. So we got this flyer. I'm not going to be doing much more flying, that's for sure. And we're in a position now. We've pushed through. There's a lot of vehicles here. I don't mind sitting on the cap while these guys head out and look for the last remaining guy. It's just one of those things. So I'm going to let you watch the rest of this. If you want to be notified when I add the next videos, we're going to be doing some builds. We're going to be doing more match footage very, very soon. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on the social media, get alerts when I upload new videos there. Links for those are in the information section below the video. Please do leave your comments and feedback. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and take care.